Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and we are playing more budget Izzet Delver. What do we got here? We have 3 Pyromancers, a Gigadrowse, and a Spreading Seas. This... I don't really want to keep this hand. I'm going to mulligan. I don't think this is a very good opening hand. This is substantially better, even though we only have 1 land, because we could Faithless Looting and draw into some more lands. So let's keep this. We have 2 Faithless Lootings. Obviously, it's not going to be very hard for us to draw into another one, and we have a land on top, so we'll put on top of our library because our opponent is playing first, which means we have plenty of options. And what are we playing against today? We see an island. Ancestral Visions is put into the exile zone. Okay, so that could be a bunch of different things, something we're going to have to keep in mind for later on down the road. Yeah, let's just go this way, I guess. Throwing down a Delver of Secrets and shipping it to our opponent. And our opponent ticks down Ancestral Visions. I really don't need to yield to this. Always yield to that guy. I do not need to see that every single turn. I know that it'll happen in a couple turns from now. And what does our opponent play? What is this? Prevent the next 2 damage that we dealt to target legendary creature. Okay, that's a new one. That's a new one for me. I have no clue what our opponent is playing. They must be playing like some crazy legendary creature deck. Okay, Delver of Secrets, what do you have for me? You have a Young Pyromancer on top, which I'm not going to be showing off. I love Young Pyromancer, but it is not going to flip our Delver of Secrets, so we're not going to play it. Shivan Reef, and what do we think? As much as I would love to play Faithless Looting, I think actually developing board state is probably a better bet right now. So let's go to combat, swinging for 1, small damage, yeah. And our opponent casts something. They have something with flash? Choose 1, target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature. What do we think of that? I think this would be a perfect time to play Condescend. That is my honest opinion on this situation. Because then we'll counter the spell, we'll set up our scry, and then almost guarantee that we get a flip Delver of Secrets on next turn. So yeah, you're going to go on the top of the library, and then on top of the mountain is going to go our Serum Visions. And then we will pass it to our opponent. They can take that 1 damage to the face, their Ancestral Visions ticks down, and we will wait and see what happens. And we know, unless our opponent manages to dump our library or make us search our library, which could happen, they are playing white, which means they may have a path to exile. I'd assume they'd have already used it, rather than use what they just did use. Wall o' Omens. Yes, sure, you can play that. I'm okay with that. You are going to obviously draw a card. We will skip to our turn. Yes, we want to do that. Answer is yes. The answer is yes. Please reveal. Now we have a flying creature, which is rad. And we're not going to play anything yet. We're just going to go to combat. You go. And our opponent obviously can't block that because Wall of Omens is, well, it's a ground creature. So 3 to our opponent, which is good for us. And what do we think? We could Young Pyromancer, or we could Serum Visions. Serum Visions will... Yeah, let's Serum Visions. Hi there, this is Future Adrian. I wanted to come and point out some of the errors that past Adrian, the one that was playing this game, obviously made. The first one is he was focusing on trying to play spells rather than developing his board state with Young Pyromancer. Why wouldn't you play Young Pyromancer and then get elementals from the Serum Visions that you just played? I don't think I quite understand this logic, and it is definitely a misplay. I think that's actually the better bet, because then we can just Faithless Looting and draw whatever's on top if we see what we really like. Or we can just hold off and keep Vapor Snag as a special thing for us. So we have another Delver of Secrets on top, which may be a really good idea, actually. Spreading Seas, on the other hand, can go on the bottom. Why am I putting Spreading Seas on the bottom? This doesn't make any sense. Our opponent has a single white mana source, and he obviously just played a spell that uses that white mana. Why am I not keeping that and making our opponent's tempo like disappear by giving him only blue mana to use? Our opponent is largely playing a blue deck, it looks like, blue-white, so I'm not really that interested. put on top of library. And we'll play our mountain. And I think we're actually going to play Faithless Looting like right now. Why? Faithless Looting, why? Again, Young Pyromancer is such a better option at this exact time. Come on, you would be getting elementals by playing Young Pyromancer and then Faithless Looting. What are you digging for anyways? You have nothing to dig for at this exact time. Draw our Delver of Secrets, and to draw Gigadrowse, which at this exact moment I don't think is going to be very useful for us, so let's pitch Gigadrowse and Faithless Looting. Yeah. And then we will play our Delver of Secrets and pass it to our opponent's turn and see what they do. Mr. Computer, I'm okay. I don't care to restart my computer. And let's see what our opponent decides to do. Obviously, we tapped ourselves out, so our opponent knows that we aren't going to be bouncing or countering anything. Ancestral Visions is about to resolve next turn, because it has 4 counters, and next turn will be the last counter off of it. And our opponent just passes it back to us, which is totally fine by me. Hopefully we get to flip a second Delver. No, because we have another Delver on Secrets on top. No, we're not going to reveal that. Well, let's just go to combat, swing in with one of our Delvers. This is going to be very bad next turn, because our opponent's going to fill up his hand and probably draw into some answers. That's kind of the way this goes normally, I have found. Is when your opponent draws 3 cards, they generally find stuff they're looking for. Swing in with the Flying Delver, the Insect Abomination. Our opponent obviously can't block. What do we think? We obviously want to cast our other Delver, and we may as well just cast our Young Pyromancer, because unless our opponent has an answer, which they may have an answer right now, we don't have an answer for that. So he's going to make us sacrifice an attacking creature. I'm assuming he's about to cast this, and then we get to sacrifice an attacking creature, so we're going to sacrifice this guy. We could potentially bounce him to our hand and then cast him again, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to play this one just super close to the chest. Sacrifice Delver. Yeah, I think we're just going to cast another Delver, and then we're also going to cast our Young Pyromancer as well. Just to develop our board state, I totally just clicked pass again. I love doing that. I really love... Actually, I'm not... Yeah, we'll hold off. We'll hold off. I'm not sure why we're going to hold off, but we're going to hold off. And our opponent passes us the turn back. Oh, maybe not. I may have preemptively said that. He does. He does pass us the turn back. We're not going to Vapor Snag anything. Hopefully our Delver does flip, because that would be really cool, and it's not. It's an island. Womp, 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 womp. Oh well. Not the end of the world for us. It is obviously slowing us down a little bit, but it's not slowing us down too much, I don't think. We will play you. Obviously not going to attack in, because I'd rather those guys be big, awesome, scary creatures. But we will do this. And then we will pass our opponent the turn back. Counter target spell with converted mana cost 2. Yeah, Smell Snare, you are so good. I wish you weren't like a $5 card, because we would be playing you in this deck as well. But again, that's the way it goes. Pass it to our opponent's turn. We don't need it. You can go. Go back to your opponent's, to the opponent's turn. What happens now? So we're just kind of at this point waiting, and hopefully gonna flip our Delver. Either of our Delvers, hopefully both. Well, both of our Delvers. And our opponent plays another Ancestral Vision, which is definitely going to give them the upper hand, which is very hard. So, yeah, we're going to see how this plays out. And I'm assuming our opponent's going to swing in with Snapcaster. Doesn't, okay. I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, just getting in a little bit of extra damage seems like way too good not to. And it is a Nivmagus. No. We are not going to reveal it. Thanks, though. Nivmagus is fantastic. We will play him like right away here, because he will start being very fun very soon, because we can actually hopefully start sacking spells off to him. Oh my god, you know what I totally just realized? We have a Faithless Looting in our graveyard. So instead of just sitting on this Vapor Snag, we could have been Faithless Looting this entire time. Do I want to do that? That is a huge question right now. Do I want to play a Faithless Looting? I think no. I'd rather keep a Vapor Snag and potentially bounce one of these guys to our hand, rather. No, I shouldn't have. I should have totally done it. I should have done it last turn if I was thinking about it. I totally forgot about that. Too late now. But I should have totally done it, because if we would have been able to get a card like Serum Visions that allows us to scry the top of our library, or Condescend, which would allow us to prevent our opponent from casting spells, would have been way more effective than just holding onto a Vapor Snag as a defensive strategy, which is not a good strategy. Oh well, oh well. This is what we learn, guys. This is how we learn what we're doing. And our opponent is casting something large. I think we may just be playing against kind of a good old-fashioned blue-white control deck. Ojutai. Yeah, that guy's gonna be hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with. Okay, what do we got? Hopefully something good on top. Please give me something good on top. Lightning Bolt. Yes, let's reveal that. The only downside of all this is Ojutai is a flying creature, and it has hexproof as long as it is untapped. So we don't want to swing in, because he's just gonna block it. Block either of these guys and kill whatever it is. And I don't really want to do the 2-for-1 with Nivmagus, so I think we're just gonna pass it to our opponent's turn and go from there. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Ancestral Vision ticking down slowly. I think if he swings in with his Ojutai, Dragon Lord Ojutai, we will probably just Vapor Snag it back to his hand. Again, that kind of just gives our opponent an extra turn, so we're just kind of feeding our opponent's turn with that. If we block and bolt it, we will kill it, which would be good. This thing is also a pain in our butt. Celestial Colonnade, Flying Vigilance, 4/4 flying, so we can't bolt that either. But we can definitely throw that back to our opponent's hand. I think that's actually probably a better bet, is if he swings in one of these turns with his Celestial Colonnade, is to bounce that to his hand. So what does our opponent do? Does he swing in with the Dragon Lord? He may be hesitant to swing at the Dragon Lord. Oh no, he's not. So I think our option really is to... If I Vapor Snag it, he's just going to play it again. He has it as a blocker. If I kind of sacrifice one of our... Yeah, okay. I think that's what we're going to have to do. So you go here, bolt his Ojutai, Dragon Lord, yeah. And which will at least kill it. So that's a thing. Unfortunately, we kind of had to sack our guy. Destroy all creatures. Well, that seems like a pretty good time to play a Vapor Snag. And what do we want to bounce? What do we think? I think you are a better bet. So Supreme Verdict is going to blow everything away. We're going to pull back our Delver of Secrets to our hand, which means at least we'll have something next turn to play, which is, not bad. And yeah, we have the smallest of game plans here going on. Playing around a blue-white control deck is super difficult. It takes a lot of brain power, for me at least. I'm not sure about you guys, but for me, lots of brain power is required to play against blue-white control, because they are super-duper sneaky and very aggressive. So what is our opponent doing? Again, Ancestral Visions. Gonna give him card advantage. We don't have any way of countering that, otherwise we would counter it. But we don't. So when we go to sideboard, yeah, throw in Dispels, because we're playing against blue-white control, which is just running all kinds of instants or sorceries. And what is he playing? Celestial Colonnade. Yes, of course you are. So that's going to be 4 damage to our face. Not to the end of the world for us. It will get there soon. But it's not the end of the world yet. Our turn. Oh, and our opponent forgot to swing in. No, our opponent did not forget to swing in. You just didn't notice that Celestial Colonnade gets Vigilance when you make it into a creature. No, that's a mountain. Upkeep time. We will swing in for 1 and get in our measly damage. And then at this point, I think we're going to Faithless Looting. I think it's worth it at this point. Obviously, keeping Lightning Bolt would be rad, but we don't necessarily need this mountain, and there's a lot of other things we could potentially be grabbing. That's no fun. Yeah, okay. I have no way of dealing with that, so goodbye, Mr. Delver. Might as well Faithless Looting. Hopefully we can draw into something that'll actually help us out in the long run. Nivmagus and a Young Pyromancer. Young Pyromancer is the better bet here. Unfortunately, we can't play it this turn. We would have been able to play Nivmagus. But it is not the end of the world. We will skip to our end of our opponent's turn, or to, I should say, to our next turn. We're just going to pass their entire turn. And I will quickly jam the stop passing button if he plays something that we need to destroy. He's probably going to Celestial Colonnade again and actually attack this turn. And there you go. There you go, buddy. You got the attack in. Congratulations! Yes. So you realized that your opponent attacked, but you didn't realize, again, that Celestial Colonnade gets Vigilance. I know, I was there, you didn't notice. It's all good, it's all good. And it is now our upkeep. We draw a Magma Jet, which is going to be very helpful for us. Yeah, it's actually super helpful. Okay, so let's play our Young Pyromancer. And our opponent may have something to counter that. At this point, I would not be surprised if they're sitting on like a Cryptic Command or a Mana Leak. Yeah, no, I can't pay for Mana Leak, so apparently my buttons aren't working right now. What do I want to do? These are both instants, so I might as well cast them on my opponent's turn. Potentially in response to something. Yeah. I guess we could technically... actually, no, we can't. I was going to say we could technically Faithless Looting again, but we cannot Faithless Looting again because we only have 2 mana. Okay. Oh, you control player. You and all your controlling. He has a second Celestial Colonnade. This is going to get real bad. I guess we probably have 2 turns to figure out how to deal with this before we are game over. So, probably our better bet... I really want to Magma Jet this turn and scry and hopefully draw something of value. But I'm a little yeah, we're gonna do that. I think it's the only real way to go here. It's my thinking sound. Down to 6 life. We have 2 turns left before game over for us. And let's just Magma Jet our opponent's face. And we're down to 5 life now, which is fine. Because fingers crossed we draw, or we scry into something that's actually going to help us out. Young Pyromancer would be one of those things. But we are going to put Young Pyromancer on the top of our library, followed by Serum Visions, where we can play both of those. Obviously, I would like to play Young Pyromancer first and then Serum Visions, but beggars can't be choosers in this exact situation. Okay, Serum Visions. We will play Serum Visions. We will draw our Young Pyromancer, which is going to be very handy. And you can be put on the bottom. And Delver's Secrets, are you going to be good enough? Are you actually going to... You know what? Neither of these are going to be good enough. This is not good enough at all. I totally just realized that he has flying creatures, which is not going to help me at all. Huh. Okay, well, let's concede this match. Because we can't win against 2 Celestial Colonnades. That was a really long game 1, so game 2 needs to be way faster. So Negate, you are coming in. Both of the Dispels are coming in. He's not playing anything that I would need a Ceremonious Rejection for. Crumble to Dust could help us with Manlands, but I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. Wait. You just lost game 1 to Celestial Colonnade. And you're saying bringing in land destruction is a bad idea? I don't think you realize the irony of your statement, Adrian. Electrolyzes can come out, because I'd rather keep the speed of the deck up. Spreading Seas is a good idea, because that actually deals with Manlands, which is the whole reason to leave them in. And Vapor Snags are... I'll take out 1 Vapor Snag. I should actually take out 2 Vapor Snags and leave in 1 Electrolyze. My reasoning being that Vapor Snag could potentially save our stuff from being destroyed, where, yeah, potentially. It's kind of a long shot. And we will play first, and 1, 2, yeah, might as well keep this. It's okay. And we will have to play super duper fast, like always, because I'm the slowest player on the face of the planet. If you've ever played with me or played against me on X-Mage, which I also play a lot on. You know that because I tend to chat a lot. Like, hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah. Anyhow, something I should also say as well, like, thanks for all the people that, like, actually take the time to play with me on X-Mage. I know there's been a lot of you guys that are, like, fans of me now, or fans of my content. So it's really cool to actually, like, play with people. What do I think? I think he will probably play something that is going to make my life not as fun next turn. Potentially. I think Young Pyromancer is probably going to be a better bet here. So let's go to combat. We will swing in with our Nivmagus, and then we will play a Young Pyromancer. Just make it so our opponent has to start dealing with our stuff real soon, otherwise we will just overwhelm him. So what does our opponent think? Obviously keeping Dispel open might have been a good idea, but I kind of want to play the I want to do a bunch of damage to my opponent as fast as possible game. Our deck is actually really more kind of a mid-range deck. We don't generally win by turn 4 with our deck because it's designed to kind of control and pin and then slowly gain the advantage. And it generally does that. I mean, I think it does it pretty well. I've been quite happy with the results, which is why I'm showing this video actually, which is why I made the deck. So our opponent pays a whole bunch of life to path our Young Pyromancer. How do I feel about that? Obviously I don't have an option around that. I don't have any response, but... And yes, I would like to use Path of Exile's ability, and we will grab blue. By blue, I mean an island. And that is going to be very annoying with him playing Snapcaster Mages. But oh well. We will see how it goes. And it is going to be my turn. And I draw another island, which is okay. I think we're just going to go in for... We should have went in for 1 damage. But me pushing buttons twice... This feels kind of like the time I played the Heartless Mirror deck, actually, a little bit. Okay, maybe not that bad. Anyhow, we're going to go like this. And we will pass it to our opponent's turn. We should have attacked, but we obviously didn't. Oh, our opponent has 2 Ancestral Visions hanging out on the stack, eh? That's neat. Okay, well, that's the thing. And what does our opponent do? We've left open a lot of mana, which is a good idea, because we could either dispel Izzet Charm or potentially Magma Jet our way to safety if our opponent decides to do something crazy. And our opponent doesn't, so why not Magma Jet our opponent's face for 2 damage and scry and hopefully grab something good. I mean, it's kind of a minor play. Obviously, Magma Jet is better suited to helping flip Delver, but you can be put on the bottom of the library. And Electrolyze can go on top, because we can Electrolyze our opponent's face for 2 damage next turn. And it is our upkeep. What does our opponent do? Hey look, Electrolyze! Swing in for a whopping 2 damage, and then pass it to our opponent. Did our opponent do anything? No. Okay. So again, we can Electrolyze our opponent if they play something sneaky, and then we'll draw a card, which is good. We also have Dispel open, so we can actually counter some stuff. So does our opponent play anything? Looks like no. So let's Electrolyze our opponent's face for 2, and we can use the colorless mana from this, just to keep open blue mana for our Dispel if our opponent decides to get all sneaky on us and try to counter this. And Gigadrowse is exactly what we were hoping to draw. I didn't say that aloud, but it is exactly what we were hoping to draw. So we'll go to combat, swing with both these guys. We'll go to the block step, and that's when we'll actually cast our Gigadrowse. So we're actually going to play Gigadrowse, tapping down his lands. And we want to, might as well, so if we do 2, we can do, yeah, let's do 2 to be safe, because then we still have our Dispel. Sure, you, and then you eat you. So now we have 2, 3, 4 creatures, which is going to be a little bit harder for our opponent to deal with, and we've kind of spread out our tokens, so we don't have to, like, worry about potentially more damage. And does our opponent do anything? Are we waiting on something else? We're waiting on our opponent to figure out if he's actually going to do anything. So we've left Dispel open, so we could potentially dispel anything. So he is going to path, which we are going to dispel that. I would rather not lose one of my Nivmagus Elementals. So he may have another card in his hand to counter my Dispel. It is completely possible, and or maybe not, is also a possibility. He doesn't, so we're actually going to make our opponent's face hurt a little bit. Okay, so we are within bolt range, so if we draw a bolt, we could actually close out this game. I do wish Izzet Charm also did damage to people's faces. You know, obviously it doesn't, but it would be really cool if it did. Unfortunately, our opponent is drawing a bunch of extra gas, which is actually a problem for us. What does our opponent play? He's tapping a lot of mana. Three's not that much. Okay, he's tapping a moderate amount of mana. And Detention Sphere. Oh my god. Okay, well, that is a thing. That is, congratulations on the amazing pull, Mr. Opponent. Or Mrs. Opponent. That is amazing for you. I will say that. Let's see what we draw. If we draw a bolt, we win. We don't draw a bolt. We do have an Izzet Charm. So let's Izzet Charm to draw 2, discard 2. See if our opponent has anything to counter. He may have a mana leak. Because blue. Because mana leak. Okay, this isn't so much a misplay as you just need to stop hitting so many extra buttons when you're playing the game, so you don't just skip over things that you clearly could have countered. What? I hit buttons again. Well, I could have countered that. My few complaints about MTGO is like the key binding system is really not intuitive. Wait! Now this is an unforgivable, stupid misplay. While Adrian is complaining about the MTGO interface, he clearly skips the fact that he could have countered Ancestral Visions, which has totally given his opponent the advantage, and he totally could have got a scry off it as well, which would have led him closer to potentially winning the game. Delver of Secrets, I guess we're going to play, because that's a good card to play. And because we have Condescend, whatever our opponent plays to go against it, we are going to scry, and we are looking for a bolt. A bolt wins us the game. Pass to our opponent's turn, and if our opponent doesn't have a way of dealing with us, we may be able to win. Maybe. Maybe. Just maybe. And what does our opponent decide he is doing? He's going to play a Wall of Omens, which we actually will counter for 1 just to make our opponent pay 1 extra mana. It's really because we just want to scry. That's actually what we're using this for. We may actually, once this one resolves, play a second one, just because we kind of want to draw a bolt next turn. That is kind of our sole objective. Draw a lightning bolt. Mind you, keeping a Condescend so our opponent has to pay a bunch of mana might be a good idea as well. So he's going to play a Cryptic Command. I'm guessing. He tapped enough mana to play Cryptic Command. Why wouldn't he? Yeah, Cryptic Command. Let's Condescend Cryptic Command for 0. Basically meaning pay 1 blue, scry 2. Just kind of a lesser version of Serum Visions, but we can do it at instant speed, so that's nice. And we can hopefully, again, draw not mountains. Not this. Draw not that. And then, yeah, we're going to have to deal with Cryptic Command. We'll just pass all of this, because we know what's going to happen. What do we draw? We draw a Young Pyromancer. Well, we might as well just get all of the stuff onto the table that we can, and hopefully overwhelm our opponent on the next turn. We'll use the island. We're literally just kind of like playing this game 1 card at a time. Obviously I don't have any responses. What are we doing? What is going to happen here? What is our opponent playing? I'm guessing Supreme Verdict is what's about to happen here. That is my guess, because you can count what kind of mana he's playing. Yeah, Supreme Verdict. Again, we need a bolt. That's what we need. I'm not concerned about much else other than don't want that. Okay, well, pass it to our opponent. We can counter whatever he's playing, which is good. Non-creature spell, that is. Unfortunately, creature spells are what we're going to be losing to right now. And Restoration Angel. Okay, well, that's a thing. Not getting as much value out of Resto Angel as he would be. Yeah, 3 damage to our face. What is our opponent playing now? It is a Gideon. Well, that's a thing. It sure is a thing, Adrian. Good thing you have that negate that you've been holding on to counter non-creature spells. I hope you play it! It's okay, we're not relying on creature right now, we're relying on damage. That's how I feel about this. We're actually going to holding on to the negate because we are playing the magical top deck game. If we don't draw, we lose. If we do draw, we may win. Gideon doesn't get lifelink, does he? That'd make him insane. No, he just is a 6/6. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're not dead yet, but we are... Literally, we have to draw a bolt. We could also potentially win if we draw a... No, bolt is it. That literally bolt is our option. Bolt or bust. And our opponent had us, and he totally forgot. Could have played Celestial Colonnade. Would have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, no, he couldn't have had us. This is probably a better play for him then, actually. Okay, bolt or bust, bolt or bust. Vapor Snag is not gonna do it, but it will allow us to live one more round, one more turn. It'll actually allow us to have more of a spread because we could also draw Magma Jet and kill our opponent, or Electrolyze, which is in our graveyard. So not Electrolyze, because. Oh wait, no. If he creates Celestial Colonnade, we lose. Does he? He does not make Celestial Colonnade, which means we can just bounce Gideon. He may have a counter spell of some sort, which we can then counter his counter. Very meta countering counters. But we'll see. Again, we're literally just like waiting. We need to draw the right card to win, otherwise we lose. Kind of. Oh, good. That's good. Yeah, okay. Well. Pass to our opponent's end step. We're at 3 life. Okay, so we need Magma Jet or a Lightning Bolt. We have a second chance if we draw Spreading Seas. Delver Seekers will not do it. Well, this has been Giant Monster Games. I hope you guys enjoyed this match. It was definitely a tough one. Yeah. Anyways, I'm Adrian. This is Giant Monster Games. Thanks for watching. We didn't win anything in this match, but we did play an interesting, kind of grindy match. So I hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to game like a giant monster.